If you're planning a trip to Arches National Park, you probably are hoping to see the best arches in the park. So today, I am so excited to talk to you about my favorite arches in Arches National Park, where to find them, how to get to them, and make sure that you see the best of this park while you're here. My name is Ash. I'm a former park ranger and the founder of Dirt in My Shoes. I am also a Utah native, so you'll find me in Arches at least yearly, but sometimes even 2 or 3 times a year. I love this national park. I love the area, and so you will find me down there pretty often. But today I want to talk to you about my favorite arches in Arches National Park. And I have them by category so that depending on what you're looking for, you'll know which arch will be the best for you. These first arches that I'm going to talk about are the more popular, famous ones, so you may have heard of some of them. As we work our way through this list, though, they are going to get a little bit more obscure, maybe some arches that you've never heard of. And so stick with me here as I walk you through these arches in Arches National Park. The first arch in Arches National Park that you absolutely don't want to miss wins the award for the most iconic arch probably in the country, and that is Delicate Arch. So Delicate Arch is actually the largest freestanding arch in Arches National Park. Its light opening, or the space between the top of the arch and the ground, is about 46 feet tall. You can stand under this arch, and there's nothing like it. When you're standing under there and you're just witnessing its majesty for yourself, is absolutely an unforgettable experience. Now, if you want to stand under the arch, then you do have to make the 3-mile round-trip trek up to the arch and back. This trail, it gains about 500 feet of elevation. There's hardly any shade, so you will not want to be hiking this in the middle of the day, and you do need to bring a ton of water to get you there safely. So plan on that, but it's for the most part a pretty good family-friendly hike. A lot of people make the trek up to this arch, so it does stay very busy, but it's, again, absolutely worth making the trek up here to be able to stand underneath the Delicate Arch. Taking a look at the map of Arches National Park, so you'll enter the park down here by the town of Moab, and then you'll drive up along the park road to this turnoff here, where you'll then park at the Wolf Ranch Trailhead. At this trailhead, there are restrooms, but no running water, so make sure you bring your own water with you. And then you'll start the hike up to Delicate Arch, which is up here. Along the way, you will pass by Wolf Ranch, which there's a little cabin there. There's a petroglyph panel. It's pretty cool. And then you'll make your way up to the arch. Now, if you don't want to hike, or if you can't hike that far, then there are a few other options for seeing Delicate Arch. And so instead of parking here at Wolf Ranch, you can keep driving along this road to the end. There's a parking area here with 2 different viewpoints of Delicate Arch. If you can go to both, I recommend it. They're both really nice, but if you can only go to one, this one is wheelchair accessible, which is nice, and so you can still see Delicate Arch from here. The arch will not look very big. You're quite far away from it from these viewpoints, but at least you still get to see it and just get an idea for how beautiful it actually is. The next arch that you'll definitely want to see while you're in Arches wins the award for the longest arch in the park. And that is Landscape Arch. Landscape Arch is 306 feet long, so it's absolutely massive. It looks like it's going to break apart at any time. It looks really, for lack of a better word, delicate. And you'll see a big pile of rocks underneath this arch because it has been breaking down for many, many years. That's very standard here in Arches National Park. And so definitely go and enjoy this arch. It is the longest arch actually in North America at this point in time. And so that's really cool. But then you can also see a whole bunch of other arches while you're in this area too. So to see Landscape Arch, you'll continue along the park road all the way to the end, and you'll park here at the Devil's Garden Trailhead. The Devil's Garden is a really cool area of Arches National Park, and Landscape Arch is actually just one of the many arches that you can see while you're back here. So if you want to hike to Landscape Arch, it's about 1.8 miles round trip, and you'll just hike along this trail to Landscape Arch, which is right here. You can take these side trails down to Tunnel Arch and Pine Tree Arch if you want to see 3 arches within that span of distance, which is really cool. If you want to continue past Landscape Arch, the trail gets a lot more challenging from this point. It is a trail that is more for experienced hikers, but you can hike this primitive trail near Landscape Arch. You can hit Navajo Arch, Partition Arch. If you want to go all the way out to Double O Arch, I highly recommend that. Double O Arch is a really good turnaround point if you're hiking the Devil's Garden. You don't want to go the whole way. And so a lot of people do this stretch here too, just to add in a few more arches to see. If you're feeling even extra adventurous, then you can continue along the primitive loop. This is where you're going to do some scrambling. There may be some water involved, but if you continue around here, you can catch Private Arch and then continue around the loop and then back out. If all you can see when you're in this area is Landscape Arch, that's fine. Landscape Arch is super impressive. But if you want to make more of a day of it while you're out here at the Devil's Garden, then I highly recommend adding a few more arches to your plan. The next arch you'll definitely want to see wins the award for the tallest arch in Arches National Park. Not only is this arch the tallest, but it's a double arch, which gives it its name. So you actually get to see 2 different openings at once. The tallest arch in Arches National Park is Double Arch, aptly named, and it's about 112 feet tall. Double Arch is easily one of my favorite arches in Arches National Park. It ranks up so high as like an absolute, you have to stop here and see it while you're here. And what's really cool about Double Arch is that you actually don't even have to hike to see it. You can see it right from the parking lot. If you want to go walk up underneath it and get a closer look, then it's about a half a mile round trip to make the trek to Double Arch and back to the parking lot. This arch is in another area of the park that is just heavily arched. There's a lot of arches in this area. And so if you head down here and take this side road to the very end, this is where the parking area is. And then here's your little walk out to Double Arch. Again, you can see it from the road, but it's really cool to be able to stand underneath it. A couple other arches that you'll want to see while you're in this area are the windows. So you've got the north and south window here. You can, again, see them from the parking lot, or you can go walk up closer. You can actually walk behind them if you want to. So there's a nice little trail there. And then you also have a little side trail out here to Turret Arch, which you can also see really easily from the parking lot. So this whole area is just so much bang for your buck because you're hardly having to hike and you can see so many arches all at one time. Even though the Double Arch area is very family friendly, especially if you have young kids who don't want to do a lot of hiking, there is another arch that actually wins the award for everybody's family favorite arch in Arches National Park. This arch is actually not my favorite, but it is one that a lot of people like to go to. There is a reason that I will come here though, which I will talk you through in a minute. But right now I am talking about Sand Dune Arch. People love Sand Dune Arch, especially if you have really young kids, because underneath this arch, it's not a very big arch. It's a little bit hidden. It's not like a super impressive arch, but underneath the arch is just a whole bunch of sand. And so a lot of people like to bring their kids here. They'll play in the sand. They'll climb around on the rocks. It's sheltered really nicely, so you do have a lot of shade in this area. The hike is super short. It's only about a quarter of a mile round trip to get to Sand Dune Arch and back. And so this one definitely wins the award for everybody's family favorite. Sand Dune Arch is up here closer to the Devil's Garden, so you can see that right here. There's a little parking lot here, and then you just make that short walk out to the arch and back if you want to. We will do this. My kids are a little bit older, and I just like to hike a lot, and so sitting at an arch and playing in sand isn't my favorite activity, but sometimes we'll go there and we'll do that for a minute, and then we'll head out to Broken Arch. Broken Arch is a really easy trail actually to get out here from Sand Dune Arch. It's not actually broken. It's an intact arch. It just has a big crack through it. And it's absolutely beautiful. You can walk right up to it. So I really like that one. And then we will loop around and go up to Tapestry Arch as well, which is another really beautiful arch. Now, everybody goes to Sand Dune Arch. Hardly anyone goes up to these ones. So this is a really good option if you're hoping to get away from the crowds as well. And then you can just loop it back down. It goes through the campground for a minute and down through here and then back to the parking area. So as I said, if you have really young kids and you just want somewhere to let them play and just have a really fun time, then Sand Dune Arch is perfect for that. If you are wanting to see Sand Dune Arch, but you're also wanting to do a little more hiking and exploring and get away from the crowds, then I would continue on to Broken and Tapestry. The last category of arches that I want to talk about for Arches National Park are the most adventurous arches to get to. And I had a really hard time narrowing this down. So I actually have several different options for you if you're looking for a really cool adventure in Arches National Park and you want to see some arches that many people never see. The first arches that I want to mention are Tower Arch and Eye of the Whale Arch. Both of these arches are really cool and super unique. Tower Arch, it's got its arch, but then it also has like a big tower coming off of it, which is why it's named that. Eye of the Whale is a really thick arch, like it's in a really thick piece of sandstone, and there's often a little pool of water in front of it. It's a really unique arch in arches. Now, why these arches are so adventurous to get to is because while you can hike to these ones, I highly recommend actually taking a Jeep and exploring some of the arches backcountry in your Jeep. And if you Jeep through this area, then you'll get to see both Tower Arch and Eye of the Whale in a way that a lot of people don't experience in this park. So your jeeping route to get to Tower and Eye of the Whale is to take this dirt road down here. This is the Salt Valley Road. This part of the road is fine for most vehicles. So you can drive out here and you can drive to this trailhead here and hike to Tower Arch if you still want to see the arch without a Jeep. But if you do want to see the arch and have a really cool adventure too, you can cut off right here. And this is where the road gets really gnarly. You definitely need high clearance, 4-wheel drive to get back in here, but you can go up and over the mountain here. You get really cool views of the marching men out here, and then you drop down, come around, and then you park right here, and it's just a really, really short walk to Tower Arch from there. So that is a really cool way to see this arch. And then you can continue back and come back to this junction here and continue heading south. And this takes you through some just beautiful scenery and arches. We have really good luck seeing a lot of cool cryptobiotic crust back here. You've got a lot of really beautiful wildflowers if the season is right. And so we love just driving this section here. It's really adventurous. It's really, really fun. And then as you near the end of this jeeping route, then you will get to Eye of the Whale out here. And it just takes a short walk to get up to the arch, and you can stand underneath it, and you'll most likely have this area to yourself. After that, you'll just loop around here. You can come down here. You can either go back into arches over here and back onto the main road, or if you want to come down this way, there's actually like some dinosaur tracks down in here. And anyway, it's another way to just exit Arches National Park and head back to Moab. I have a full article about the jeeping route in Arches and what you'll see along the way. So head over to dirtandmyshoes.com if you want more information about that. The other really big adventure that you can have in Arches is to head into the Fiery Furnace. This is a maze-like area of the park that is really difficult to navigate. You really need to know what you're doing. So you can either get a self-guided permit, which requires you to go through some training with Arches National Park before you do that, or you can sign up for a ranger-led tour and they will lead you through the Fiery Furnace. When you're going through the fiery furnace, you will see a couple of really cool arches. Surprise arch is back in there. You've got skull arch, which is a cool double arch that's back in there. And you'll just feel like you're on a huge adventure as you go through this maze area of arches. The fiery furnace is basically right here in the middle of the park. And so you'll drive the park road, you'll park in this parking lot, and then right there, they're either going to make you show tickets for your ranger-led tour, or you will have to prove that you have the self-guided permit. You'll need to show them your permit to be able to enter the fiery furnace. Exploring the fiery furnace can take a half a day or more if you want to just hang out in there. If you have the self-guided permit, there's a route that you follow. Definitely come prepared. Make sure that you're not getting lost while you're back in there, but have a really fun time like scurrying over the rocks and scrambling and just exploring this area as you try to make it to Surprise or Skull Arches. Those are my favorite arches in Arches National Park. If you can see all of those, that is such an epic visit to this national park. You will have just such a cool, immersive experience while you're here. If you need any help planning your Arches trip, go to dirtandmyshoes.com. I've got an itinerary, which is an hour-by-hour schedule to help you see all of these arches. Or I have just a bunch of articles that will help you navigate the park and see what you're hoping to see. I wish you the very best as you explore Arches National Park, and I hope that you have a very safe and fun visit.